Welcome to Zoe Stories. My ex's sister made me her feminine revenge. I never thought I'd end up like this. Not just the clothes, not just the hair or the soft, clinging fabric that now felt strangely natural against my skin, but the entire situation. If you had told me a year ago that I'd be sitting in my tiny apartment bedroom, surrounded by makeup kits and skirts I used to joke about, I would have laughed in your face. But now I wasn't laughing. I was breathing, shallow, panicked, and thrilled breaths as I looked in the mirror and saw someone I barely recognized, and yet, someone who felt more real than the man I used to be. My name is Tyler, 28 years old. I used to be what you'd call normal, or at least that's what I convinced myself. I worked in IT support, which meant long hours behind a screen, troubleshooting problems, fixing things I didn't care about for people who barely remember my name. It was a quiet life. Forgettable. And maybe that's why I clung to Emma the way I did. Emma was my girlfriend for almost 3 years. A whirlwind romance, if you could call it that. She was smart, beautiful, confident in a way I never was. She came from a polished, upper-class family, where appearances meant everything and secrets were like currency. From the outside, we looked like opposites. Me, introverted, awkward, always second-guessing myself. Her, radiant, commanding, magnetic. But inside that dynamic was something deeper, something darker. At first, I thought she loved that I was different. She said it was cute how shy I was, how I deferred to her in social settings. She took control, planning our weekends, picking my clothes when we went out, even trimming my beard once because she said, "It'll grow in neater if I do it." I thought it was playful at the time. Looking back now, I wonder if she saw something in me that I was too scared to admit myself. Our breakup wasn't dramatic. No screaming, no cheating, no final betrayal. Just distance. One day, she came home, stared at me like I was a stranger, and said, "You're not the man I thought I wanted." That hurt more than I expected. I didn't fight back. I just let her go. She packed up her things, and just like that, I was alone. But this story doesn't start with Emma. It starts with her sister, Riley. Riley was the opposite of Emma in every way. Where Emma was cold and calculating, Riley was warm and impulsive. A year younger, she was a whirlwind of sarcasm and rebellion, tattoos, wild hair colors, constantly in some phase of reinvention. We never got along while I was dating Emma. She thought I was boring. I thought she was trouble. And I was right. After the breakup, I tried to disappear into the quiet of my life. Days blurred into nights. I worked. I slept. I scrolled social media and pretended not to notice that Emma had moved on. Then Riley messaged me. "Hey. Weird question. Can you help me with a little project?" I almost ignored it. But curiosity, and maybe loneliness, got the better of me. She showed up at my apartment the next day, all confidence and smirking mischief, like she already knew something I didn't. "It's simple," she said. "You just have to model something for me." I frowned. Model? Like clothes? Riley grinned. Exactly. I told her no, of course. But she didn't leave. She just kicked off her boots, sat on my couch, and pulled out a small pink bag. "Emma always said you were too soft," she muttered, almost to herself. Let's find out how soft. I should have kicked her out. Should have told her I wasn't in the mood for whatever game she was playing. But something in her tone, a mix of anger and mischief, hooked me. And beneath that, a challenge. So I agreed. Not all at once. Not out loud. But I let her unzip that bag. I let her take out the lipstick, the eyeliner, the delicate lace top she claimed was just for fun. And for the first time in months, my pulse raced. The room was quiet except for Riley's soft humming and the gentle clicking of her brushes. I sat stiffly in the chair while she leaned in close, her breath warm on my cheek as she painted me into someone else. "You're prettier than you think," she said, brushing a lock of hair out of my eyes. Prettier than Emma ever realized. My heart stuttered. When she was done, she handed me a mirror. And there she was. A stranger. Me but not. I didn't recognize the full lips, the subtle blush that gave my cheeks a gentle curve. The eyeliner that made my eyes look wide and almost innocent. Riley didn't let me look for long. She stood and tossed a dress in my lap. Put that on. I hesitated. Why are you doing this? She tilted her head. Let's call it revenge. Or maybe closure. Or maybe I just want to see what you'll become. That was the start. What I didn't know then, what I couldn't possibly know, was how deep Riley's revenge would go. How far she would push me. How much of myself I'd lose, and how much I'd discover in the process. That night, I stood in my apartment, dressed like a girl, staring at a reflection that felt both terrifying and right. And Riley? She just smiled. This is only the beginning, she said. She was right. The next morning, I thought it had all been a dream. Maybe a bizarre, unsettling dream stitched together from my guilt, my loneliness, and whatever strange energy Riley brought with her. But the eyeliner stains on my pillowcase told me otherwise. So did the text waiting on my phone. Hope you didn't wash it off too fast, winking face. Same time tomorrow. I stared at the message, pulse quickening. I should have said no. I should have told her that was a one-time thing, a weird moment of post-breakup confusion. Instead, my fingers betrayed me.
Yeah.
Sure. The next evening, she arrived with more bags, clothes, makeup, and something new. A long, silky wig, jet black and glossy. What's that for? I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. Riley smirked. Can't have my little experiment looking half-finished. You've got good cheekbones, but the hair? That needs help. She moved fast, too fast. In 15 minutes, I was in another outfit. A pale blue crop top that clung to me in ways that made me acutely aware of my body, and a pleated skirt that hit mid-thigh. The wig was pinned into place, bangs falling just above my now carefully mascaraed lashes. She even added a choker around my neck. And then she had me stand in front of the mirror. This time, I didn't look away. The girl in the mirror, she was closer. Less stranger, more familiar. Her lips looked softer. Her shoulders, narrower. Her eyes were wide with uncertainty. And something else. Something dangerously close to awe. I knew it, Riley said, arms crossed, watching me. You feel it, don't you? I turned away, flustered. This is just a joke to you. No, she said, her voice sharp now. Emma always controlled everything. She thought she could mold people to her image, even you. But she missed this. She tried to make you stronger, tougher, masculine. But that was never you, was it? I didn't respond. Couldn't. The silence was its own confession. Riley's tone softened. I'm not doing this to humiliate you, Tyler. I want to show you who you could be if you weren't so scared of yourself. That's what pisses Emma off the most, you know. When someone chooses their truth over her approval. Wait, I said, turning to her. Emma knows about this? Riley's smile twisted. Not yet, but she will. That should have been my breaking point. But it wasn't. It was the hook that pulled me in deeper. A few days later, Riley asked to take a picture. No way, I said instantly. Absolutely not. She rolled her eyes. Relax. It's not going anywhere. It's for you, so you can see how far you've come. I hesitated. It sounded innocent, but nothing with Riley ever was. Still, I agreed. She posed me by the window, natural light filtering in, adjusted my posture, tilted my chin, and then click. There, she said, showing me the photo. I froze. I didn't look like someone crossdressing. I looked like a girl. A soft, vulnerable, pretty girl. My lips were slightly parted, my eyes a little sad, like I was waiting for someone to notice me. My stomach flipped. Riley saw it in my face. You're starting to like her, aren't you? I don't know what I'm feeling, I admitted. She leaned closer. That's good. It means you're finally being honest. The next step wasn't a suggestion, it was a command. We're going out, she said one evening, tossing a pair of heeled boots onto my bed. Out? As in public. You've practiced enough. You pass. Trust me. Panic flared. Riley, I can't. Someone might recognize me. What if? Relax. No one's going to recognize you. That's the whole point. You're not Tyler anymore. Not when you look like this. I didn't have the words to argue. And deep down, some twisted part of me wanted it. Wanted the test. Wanted to see if the girl in the mirror could survive beyond my apartment walls. So I dressed. Riley gave me a long beige coat, a pair of black tights, and a simple red sweater dress that hugged my waist in ways I didn't know fabric could. She did my makeup herself, meticulously, carefully, and pulled my wig into a loose side braid. "Let's call you Tessa tonight," she said casually. "Tessa? You need a name," she shrugged. "And you don't seem like a Tiffany." So I became Tessa. We walked into a small bar 2 neighborhoods away. Dim lights. Indie music. Quiet crowd. No one batted an eye. I clung to Riley like a lifeline, heart thundering in my chest. But the longer I sat there, sipping a soda, the more I started to breathe. I even laughed, giggled, really, and caught myself doing it. Riley smiled like a proud parent. "You're glowing," she said. That night, as we walked back to my place, I asked her something that had been eating at me. "Why are you really doing this?" She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Because I saw the way Emma broke you. She didn't just dump you, she erased you. And because I think this, whoever Tessa is, she might be the strongest part of you." I didn't sleep that night. I just lay in bed, wig still on, staring at the ceiling. I wasn't sure if this was transformation or manipulation, empowerment or punishment. But I knew one thing. I wanted more. A few days later, I got a text. "Didn't know you had a twin, Tyler." Smirking face. It was from an old college friend, Ryan. Attached was a screenshot of me, in the red dress, outside the bar. My blood went cold. I called Riley in a panic. "You said no one would recognize me." "I didn't say no one would notice you," she said, unapologetic. "You're striking. This is serious. What if people find out?" Riley's voice turned sharp. "Then maybe they'll finally see the real you. Or, are you still pretending this isn't who you are?" I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. Everything started unraveling the next morning. I woke up to dozens of notifications, texts, missed calls, even DMs from people I hadn't spoken to in years. And right there, in the center of it all, was the photo Riley took of me in the red dress. It had been posted to a burner account on Instagram. Captioned, "She always looked better as a girl, face blowing a kiss." My face. My body. My life, on display. I called Riley in a rage. "You said this was private. You promised." "I didn't post it," she said calmly. "You expect me to believe that?" "I sent it to one person," she admitted. "Emma." I stopped breathing. "Why would you do that?" I whispered. She needed to see what she threw away. I wanted her to understand what she tried to kill in you, what she couldn't even recognize. And guess what? It worked. "Riley, this isn't some revenge game. This is my life." There was a pause. Then softly, "No, Tyler. This is your rebirth." I hung up, but it was too late. Emma had seen it. It happened later that evening. A knock on the door. Sharp, precise, familiar. I opened it without thinking. "Emma." She stood there, arms crossed, phone in hand, and fury in her eyes. "You're disgusting," she said, before I could speak. "Emma, you let my sister turn you into this? What the hell is wrong with you?" Her voice hit me like a slap. She barged in, storming past me. "How long has this been going on?" I didn't answer. She turned, disgusted. "You were always weak. But I didn't think you'd let her feminize you like some project." This wasn't her idea. I lied, but even I didn't believe it. "Oh, really?" Emma sneered. "You honestly expect me to believe you wanted this?" I paused. I don't know what I want. And that threw her off. For a second, her expression cracked. She wasn't angry. She was stunned. "You really don't see how pathetic this is, do you?" She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. I collapsed on the floor, breathing hard. But the strange thing was, I wasn't just humiliated. I was exhilarated. She saw me, the real me. And for the first time since she left, she had no power over me. That terrified me. and thrilled me. Riley came by later that night uninvited. She let herself in with the spare key. I saw her, I said quietly. I know, she replied. She texted me. She thinks I'm disgusting. She's wrong. I looked at her. You did this. You knew exactly what would happen. Yes, she said. No apology in her tone. Because you wouldn't face it on your own. You used me. I revealed you. I didn't have a response for that. So, I just let her sit beside me. We didn't talk for a long time. Then she whispered, You don't have to go back to being him. I'm not ready. But you're not him anymore either, are you? I shook my head. That night, Riley helped me shave my legs. It wasn't sexual. It wasn't even performative. It was quiet, intimate, strangely sacred. And when I looked down and saw smooth skin where there had been hair, I didn't feel shame. I felt clean. The next week blurred. Riley brought over more clothes. Tighter tops, jeans that hugged, flats that made my walk sway, without heels. She had me practice voice exercises, make her sound natural, she said. Not like a joke. We worked on posture, on how I moved my hands, on how to smile softer, how to stand without slouching, how to exist without apologizing. The girl in the mirror was no longer a costume. She was a prototype. One night, Riley laid out 2 options. You can go back, she said. Box it all up, pretend it didn't happen, let Emma win again. Or we go all in. I stared at her. All in. You live as her. You try it. Fully. 1 week. No breaks. No Tyler. I felt my breath catch. You said this wasn't about humiliation. It isn't, she said. It's about truth. Don't you want to see who you really are? And for the first time, I did. Day 1. The clothes felt tighter than I remembered. My bra, yes, my bra, dug into my ribs just enough to remind me it was there, like a constant tap on the shoulder. The padded hips Riley had slipped into my jeans earlier that morning reshaped how I walked. My reflection stared back at me with glossy lips and a soft curl of brunette hair. She was no longer a stranger. She was me. Say it, Riley whispered. I'm Tessa, I said quietly. Louder. I'm Tessa. I repeated it again that night, brushing my teeth in her bathroom. And again, the next morning, when I ordered a coffee and the barista blinked at me with a slow grin and said, Cute name. It was terrifying how quickly the world accepted Tessa. The neighbor who had never spoken to Tyler now complimented my boots. A woman at the mall offered makeup tips without even asking who I used to be. And yet, it wasn't all seamless. A guy brushed past me on the subway and muttered tranny under his breath. Another stared too long, too hard, like I was a curiosity behind glass. I felt seen in the wrong ways, invisible in others. No one asked for Tyler. They only saw the girl. And the truth was, I wanted them to. 3 days in, Emma returned. She didn't knock this time. Just barged in like she still owned the space between us. She stopped cold when she saw me, really saw me. I was in a powder blue sweater dress. Soft makeup. Legs crossed, back straight. Reading a book Riley left behind titled, Living Truthfully in Your Gender. Oh my God, she whispered. I stood, suddenly self-conscious. Emma. You look, she choked on the word. Fake. This isn't a game. She laughed, sharp and brittle. Of course it is. Riley's always been twisted like this. She didn't force me. You think she cares about you? She's using you to get back at me. Maybe, I admitted. But maybe she also sees me better than you ever did. Emma looked like she'd been slapped. And for once, I didn't apologize. She left without saying another word. But that night I cried. Because it still hurt. Because I still loved her. Maybe not as a partner, but as the person who used to hold my hand when I was scared. And now she looked at me like a stranger. Riley pushed me further. You walk too cautiously. Let your hips lead. Lift your voice, but don't make it cartoonish. Smile softer. Eyes speak first. It was constant, correction, rehearsal, refinement. I should have resented it. But deep down, it felt like I was being sculpted out of clay I didn't know was mine. The more I became Tessa, the more I mourned Tyler. Not because he was gone, but because no one ever saw him the way they saw her. On the 6th day, Riley invited me to a small dinner. For people. All women. I hesitated. What if they can tell? They won't. But if they do, they'll think you're stunning. And if they ask, you tell the truth. What truth? That you're figuring out who you are, and it's messy and terrifying and beautiful. The women were kind, witty, sharp. They didn't flinch when I spoke. They didn't question my laugh. One of them, Julia, I think, leaned over during dessert and whispered, "You're brave, you know that?" I didn't feel brave. I felt real. But clarity came with a cost. The more Tessa bloomed, the more I realized how little of Tyler remained. His job was on pause. His old friends were silent. His inbox remained empty, except for one message from a college buddy that just read, "WTF is this?" Even my own voice felt foreign when I slipped back into boy mode to call my bank. Tyler was a costume now, and that realization hit hard. I stared into the mirror that night, half made up, eyes rimmed with liner, lips bare. Who was I? A project? A rebellion? A girl in transition? Or just someone too lost to go back? Riley knocked gently on the door. "You okay?" "No," I said. "But maybe that's the point." She smiled, then handed me a soft pink dress, and I stepped into it like a second skin. The first crack appeared on day 8. It started with a knock. Not Riley. Not Emma. It was Mom. I hadn't seen her in weeks, hadn't even responded to her texts asking why I'd disappeared. "Open up, Tyler. I know you're in there." I froze. I was wearing a pale pink satin camisole. A matching silk robe clung to my waist. My nails, painted soft lavender by Riley, clicked nervously on the doorknob. If I didn't open, she'd worry. If I did, I took a shaky breath and unlocked the door. She stepped inside and stopped cold. Her eyes moved from my fake lashes to my painted lips, from my shaved legs to my padded curves. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. "Hi, Mom," I said softly. She sat down like her knees had buckled. "What is this?" she finally whispered. "I'm trying something." "Trying what?" This isn't you." "It might be," I said, barely audible. Her voice rose. "Don't you see what this is? That girl, Riley, is manipulating you. She always had it out for Emma. I'm not a pawn. You're my son." I swallowed hard and said it anyway. "I don't know if I am anymore," she cried. Hard. And I didn't have the strength to comfort her. I just sat there, legs crossed delicately, mascara smudging under my own tears. That night, I confronted Riley. "You didn't tell me she was coming." "She wasn't supposed to. Emma probably told her." "Of course she did. This is all a game to her. To you." "Do you think this is a game to me?" Riley's voice cracked like ice. "You think I would have spent this much time on you for a prank? You said this was revenge." "At first, maybe. But then I saw you." I turned away. I wanted to scream, but the tears came first. "Everyone thinks I'm confused," I whispered. "What if they're right? They're not. Then why does this hurt so much?" She walked over, kneeling beside me. "Because you're finally feeling everything you buried." I looked down at myself, pretty, painted, soft, and hated how much I wanted to stay that way. 2 days later, Emma messaged me. "You need to stop this before you destroy everything that's left of yourself." I didn't respond. She sent another message the next morning. "You want to be a girl? Fine. But don't expect me to stick around and watch you ruin Mom's life, too." But she was watching. I saw her car parked across the street that afternoon, engine running, eyes hidden behind dark sunglasses. Spying. Or maybe mourning. Maybe both. Then came the real collapse. Someone posted a photo of me, Tessa, online. From the dinner party. Someone had snapped it quietly. My hair was curled, smile perfect, legs crossed like I belonged there. The caption read, "Is this Tyler M. from Brighton Tech? Or did he finally snap?" By morning, it had over 300 shares. By noon, it was at 1,000. Classmates commented. Former coworkers. Even a professor chimed in. Never would have guessed. Brave if it's real. Disturbing if it's not. I threw my phone across the room. I locked myself in Riley's bathroom, scrubbed the makeup off, pulled off the wig, stared into the mirror and begged Tyler to come back. But he didn't look right anymore. His face was softer now. His eyes carried mascara memories. His lips had learned how to pout. He looked broken. Riley knocked. Go away. I won't. I can't do this anymore. You already did. That's the problem. Silence. Then she said it. Maybe you need to break, to find out who you really are. I slumped to the floor and sobbed. And this time, she didn't try to fix me. She just sat outside the door and let me fall apart. 3 days passed. 3 days where I didn't dress up, didn't paint my nails, didn't let Riley braid my hair or pick out silky dresses for me. I stayed locked inside Riley's guest room wearing baggy sweats, hiding from the world and from myself. But running never works for long, especially when the truth is faster than fear. It arrived on a gray Thursday afternoon. A simple white envelope slid under the door by Riley. I almost didn't open it, almost burned it instead. But curiosity, that stupid, gnawing thing, won. Inside was a letter in Emma's handwriting. Neat. Sharp. Like her. It said, Tyler, if you're reading this, Riley betrayed me worse than I thought. I wasn't angry at you because you liked girly things. I knew. I always knew. I loved you anyway. I tried to protect you from the people who wouldn't understand. But Riley, she wanted to destroy you. She hated you for breaking me. She blamed you for our breakup. Everything she's done was about revenge, not acceptance. You're just her trophy, her proof that she could break you. If you stay with her, you'll lose yourself. Walk away while you still can. Emma. I read it 3 times. The room spun. The floor felt too far away. Riley had said it wasn't about revenge anymore. Was that a lie, too? Was Tessa just a weapon she sharpened to stab my heart deeper? When Riley came home that night, I was waiting, still dressed in sweats, but holding the letter like a loaded gun. What is this? I demanded. Her smile faltered. Where did you get that? You tell me. I spat. She crossed her arms. Defensive. Guilty. Is it true? She hesitated. Long enough. Long enough for the silence to answer. Yes. I staggered backward, like she'd slapped me. But it's not what you think, she blurted. It started as revenge. Yeah, I wanted you to feel humiliated, lost, powerless, just like Emma was. I shook my head. Tears blurred my vision. But then something changed. Her voice cracked. I saw you. Not Tyler. Tessa. I didn't want to break you anymore. I wanted to build you. Too late, I whispered. Please. Let me explain. I dropped the letter, turned away, but she chased me, grabbed my hand. You're not Tyler anymore. That's what's eating you alive. You know it. I ripped my hand free. I don't know who I am anymore. Thanks to you. Good. Her voice was fierce now. Good. Because now you have a choice. Not one anyone forced on you. Not me. Not Emma. You. The choice. The terrifying freedom. The overwhelming question. Who was I, really? Emma's secret. I needed air. Needed answers. I drove to Emma's apartment. She opened the door, looking wrecked, hair messy, dark circles under her eyes. We stared at each other like ghosts. Finally, she spoke. You saw the letter? Yes. Tears filled her eyes. I didn't write it. I blinked. What? She held up her phone. Showed me a string of messages. From Riley's number. Pretending to be Emma. Faking the letter. Setting me up for one last cruel push. She manipulated both of us, Emma said bitterly. I tried to warn you, but you wouldn't answer. My knees buckled. I sat down hard on her couch. Everything inside me fractured. Riley didn't just want revenge. She wanted to own me. shape me into something beautiful and broken, and call it love. And I'd almost let her. I stumbled out into the night. Wind whipped my hair.
Tears streaked my cheeks.
I pulled out my phone. 2 messages blinking. Riley. Come home, Tessa. Please. Emma. You're stronger than both of us. Find your own truth. I stood there at the crossroads. One road led back to Riley, the person who had broken me and built me. The other led into the unknown, a life I would have to create from scratch. Alone. Terrified. But free. I closed my eyes,
Took a deep breath, and chose.
The city was cloaked in a gray drizzle as I stood at the threshold of Riley's apartment. The weight of betrayal pressed heavily on my shoulders, yet beneath it simmered a newfound resolve. Riley opened the door, her eyes widening in surprise. Tyler, she began, but I raised a hand to stop her. No, I said firmly. Not Tyler. Not anymore. She stepped aside, allowing me in. The apartment, once a sanctuary of transformation, now felt like a stage set for manipulation. I know everything, I continued, facing her. The fake letter, the lies, the control. It ends now. Riley's facade cracked, tears welling up. I never meant to hurt you, she whispered. But you did, I replied. You took my vulnerability and twisted it for your own agenda. Silence hung between us, heavy and suffocating. Then, with a deep breath, I turned to leave. I'm choosing myself, I declared. Not the version you crafted, but the one I discover on my own terms. As I stepped into the rain, a sense of liberation washed over me. The path ahead was uncertain, but it was mine to tread. The rain soaked through my dress as I hurried away from Riley's apartment, my heart hammering with adrenaline and pain. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if the earth itself wanted to pull me back toward the mess I was leaving behind. But I wouldn't let it. Not this time. My heels clicked sharply on the wet pavement, a strange but affirming sound. The air was cold against my bare legs, but inside, a fire burned hotter than ever before. I had confronted Riley. I had spoken my truth. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I wasn't hiding, not from her, not from Emma, and not from myself. I didn't know what came next, but I knew it had to be different. I reached the corner of the street and pulled out my phone with trembling fingers. Maybe I could call someone, a friend, anyone to talk to vent. But just as I unlocked my screen, a notification flashed across it. New email from Emma. I froze. Emma? After all this time? After the ugly breakup? After everything I had been through? Hands shaking, I opened it. I need to talk to you. There are things you don't know.
About me.
About Riley. About us. Please meet me at the old coffee shop. Midnight. Come as you are. My heart skipped a beat. Come as you are? Was that some cruel joke?
Did she know what I looked like now?
Had Riley already told her everything? Or was it something else, something deeper? I stared at the message, battling a whirlwind of emotions: fear, anger, hope, dread. My mind raced with possibilities. What if it was a trap? What if Emma only wanted to humiliate me further? But what if it wasn't? What if Emma had secrets of her own? What if everything I thought I knew about her, about our relationship, had been wrong from the start? I hesitated only a moment longer before slipping the phone into my purse. The decision was already made deep down. I had come too far to back down now. If Emma wanted to see me, she'd see the real me.
Tessa.
Tyler.
Both.
All of me. I caught a glimpse of myself in a storefront window, the rain flattening my hair, the mascara smudged slightly under my eyes, my dress clinging to my frame. I looked like a mess. I looked alive. Midnight wasn't far off. I flagged down a cab, giving the driver the address of the coffee shop. He barely glanced at me, just nodded and pulled into traffic. I sat in the back seat, my heart pounding against my ribs. The city lights blurred outside the window, a kaleidoscope of color and confusion. Would Emma be waiting? Would she accept me? Or was this the moment everything truly came crashing down? The cab pulled up outside the coffee shop. It was nearly empty at this hour, only a few lonely figures nursing their drinks inside. I stepped out into the misty night, smoothing my dress, adjusting my hair, trying to calm my nerves. The bell above the door jingled softly as I entered. And there, sitting at a corner table, was Emma. She looked up, her eyes locking onto mine instantly. For a long, heavy moment, neither of us moved. Then, slowly, Emma smiled, a sad, almost guilty smile, and gestured for me to come closer. I took a deep breath and walked toward her, step by trembling step.